Delma Woods is a plus-size model. She has her own plus-size modeling agency. She's a health advocate and a two-time cancer survivor. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with Delma one-on-one. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores.
Well, Delma.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing just great here.
Great.
You know, I just talked to you off camera, and you talked to me about the history of your parents,
Yeah.
and now the history that you're trying to set for yourself.
Correct.
Talk to me about who Delma Woods is right now.
I am a go-getter. I always have been, ever since I was young. I remember being one of the few African Americans at Ashley Hall Private School and being that token girl that was on the cover of their pamphlet so that more African Americans would go there. I guess the history behind me is mainly my parents. They really paved the way for me. And I really enjoy working in the community. I still keep the health fair going with the
Right.
Tri-County Black Nurses Association that my mother started. But I really love fashion and modeling and the art of fashion and modeling. And I became a pageant queen. I was Miss Charleston Plus America 2015. And that really opened up a lot more doors for me to get into modeling and fashion. And once I started, it just really, really took off. But I understood and I noticed that in South Carolina, we don't get the recognition like other models in other states like New York and Georgia. So I wanted to do something to bring that here to Charleston. And that's why I started the agency.
In fact, it says this on your LinkedIn profile, CEO of Delma Woods Models Agency. And you say this as your summary, with over 20 years of customer service experience and managerial experience has given me the tools to bring Delma Woods Modeling Agency, LLC, to South Carolina. Why South Carolina, your mind?
This is where I grew up. This is my home. I was raised in West Ashley. I went to all Charleston County schools. And I just noticed that there's some beautiful women here, and they just didn't know what to do to get into fashion and modeling. It was a daily thing, night and day, where I was getting inboxes. Where do you get your clothes? How do you model? You know, what did you do to get started? What can I do to get started? And it was a daily, constant thing. So I was like, I need to do something about this, and starting an agency, I figured was the best way to do it. Just make sure that we give all the women the proper tools that they need to make it in this industry and to get outside of South Carolina. My thing is, I want to put South Carolina on the map. I want people to know that, hey, she came from South Carolina, she came from Charleston, and now she's modeling in New York. That's what I want.
What is the state of modeling right now in your mind?
Modeling, oh man. It's all about being serious about your craft. You have to be serious, and it's a lot of hard work. Very, 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 very long nights. A lot of finances go into being a model.
Sure.
A lot of times I've noticed that networking is the best way to go.
Right. You're right about that. And it also reads this on your LinkedIn profile. 4 years being in the modeling industry as a runway, print, and brand ambassador model, I've learned the industry and what it takes to make it, which is hard work. So what is the industry like in your mind?
It is one of those things sometimes where it can be sometimes a little narrow. You know, you only see like that one token model that makes it and is well known. Like right now, the buzz is Ashley Graham. But people don't know about the Lyris Cross, and they don't know about all the other models that have been out here for years trying to pave the way for more plus-size women to get into the industry. I believe that, I think if they would broaden it a little bit and just say, hey, let's let in 2 or 3 beautiful women a year instead of just one.
Right.
And right now I've noticed so many plus-size women that are really trying to get into the industry, and they're fighting tooth and nail, and they're going to go to this model call, and they're going to take this class. But it's all about you and what makes you stand out outside of everyone else. And honestly, it's what they are looking for. And they is magazines and promotions and runway. They are the ones that we don't know exactly what they're looking for until the time comes. I ask all my models just to push and to have something that shows you as a model. You don't want to be like someone else. I don't want to be the next Lyris Cross. I like what she does, but I want to be the next Delma Woods. You understand what I'm saying? Take some of what you learn from the models and feed it into yourself and make it your own identity.
Wow. And you mentioned this just recently, but let me go back to 2015.
Yeah.
Miss Charleston plus size model.
Yeah, Miss Charleston Plus America. So I wanted to be in pageants growing up as a child, but plus size was just not a thing. You had to be a size 0 or you couldn't do it.
Wow.
And I traveled to Detroit in 2014. I went to the Fuller Woman Expo.
Okay.
And I met a pageant queen who was underneath the Miss Plus America pageant system. And I was like, wow, okay, is it in South Carolina? And I finally found out that same year there was a woman in Georgetown who actually decided to bring it to South Carolina. So I joined. Unfortunately, I didn't place at the level of nationals,
Right.
but I did my part locally, and my platform was the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Why? Because I've survived Hodgkin's lymphoma twice in the past 10 years. So I was really, really passionate about that. Yeah.
Where are you emotionally? You said the two-time leukemia Hodgkin's survivor. I actually, well, back in 2002, I raised money for Team in Training, which is for leukemia and lymphoma, and I ran a marathon on behalf of those patients. Where are you emotionally?
Oh man, that's a very good question. I wake up every day just blessed that I can do one thing that I couldn't do the day before. Or I always told myself, I said, you know, God, if I make it out of this, I'm going to do everything I've ever wanted to do without any, no regrets. No one can stop me. I'm very driven. I think that made me even more driven.
Right.
And then you also think about your purpose. The same time that I was going through that, my father bought me the book Purpose to a Driven Life.
Right.
And reading that book and then also intertwining that with what I was going through medically, physically, my purpose, my drive was just life and living and waking up every day. And what can I do to make someone else smile? And it does take a toll on you sometimes, especially when you've been through it twice. I'm a single mom, and I just want to make sure that I live my best life, however long that is.
When you were going through your medical issues, what was it like for you and your family? How did you guys bond?
Oh, wow. It was tough for my father. I didn't know that it would have been. He was an internist immunologist. He was in private practice in Charleston for over 30 years. He used to tell me when I was a kid, he said, I wanted to get into oncology, but he said, Del, it's just too much death, and I couldn't deal with that because he got very personal with his patients.
Sure.
And I noticed with my father, it was different. I think he wanted to fix me, and he couldn't fix me. So it was one of those things where he was super supportive. I remember him always saying, Del, you never complained. He said, you never complained. And he raved about me. Even when he was ill, the nurses would come in and be like, oh, this is my daughter. She survived cancer. She's so strong. And it made me feel so good to know that my father looked up to me, his child.
Right.
That was amazing for me to feel that from my father before he left this earth.
If you could talk to your mom and father right now,
Oh my God.
what would you say to them about you, Delma Woods?
I would first ask them, are you proud of me? That would be my main question. I've always, as a child, you watch your parents.
Sure.
And my parents were so well known and so strong in Charleston, it's hard to come up behind something like that. I think that would be the only thing I would ask. Are you proud of me?
Yes.
Yeah.
And obviously you're a two-time cancer survivor. What scripture are you looking at these days to keep you going?
Oh, man. A lot. Honestly, it's not a scripture for me. I know a lot of people have like a certain scripture that's their go-to.
Right.
Mine is just prayer. Just having a great relationship with God within myself. Regardless if I go to church every Sunday or not, it's just knowing in my heart that I'm a child of God. I'm here for a reason. So I have my own personal relationship with God. I don't think I prayed so much when I was in the hospital. I think that's the most I've ever prayed. And I started to think about that. So I was like, maybe I need to start praying more when things are going amazing in my life and not just when I'm sick.
Mm.
And the relationship with God has gotten better because I prayed not only when I'm down, but when I'm on top.
That's true. Wow. Reason. Okay, what's next for you in your mind?
Oh man. I want this agency to grow beyond my belief. I'm hoping I can turn around a year from now and like, oh my gosh, this is where we are right now. I'm already surprised because I put on my first fashion show ever in August, and it was an amazing experience. So I just know from here on, I can only grow from here. I'm hoping and praying that a year from now, I can expand this outside of South Carolina and have models coming from all over. I already have them asking me, but I want to take it a step at a time.
That's right. You can do it. You can do it.
I know.
Yes, yes. We're believing for you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Anytime. Well, Delma Woods, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate
Thank you for
this.
having me.
Anytime.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yes.